Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and welcome to my 175th video, which is a full city tour. So hello one and all to this 175th video special of a full city tour of Brick Nottingham. And I thought I'd start over here, which is an unusual perspective, because this is actually the view that you have on entering the Lego room and seeing Brick Nottingham in all its glory, with aircraft all over this part of the ceiling and space station, the two bridges across Brick Bay, which you can see is the standing hole that I use to do a lot of my filming. That represents the body of water at the end of the River Trent, which is just about there by the nose of that last boat. That fills the Brick Bay with water, and then it flows out to sea via the harbour area. And this is one of the first areas we did actually. It's quite simple, but it's got a lot of detail. I love these cranes all over the place. Got the red one there, a white one here with a different style, the blue one there, and a nice pair of them here as well next to the ferry. And also in this area, probably my favourite so far for the harbour is Dr. Inferno's evil lair. And in his evil lair, which is very heavily defended and oh so subtly advertised with big signage and so on, but in there is his Mech factory, and we can just take the roof off this quite easily. It's harder when you're right-handed and you're trying to do it with your left hand, but there we go. And that is, if you haven't seen the video, well worth seeing, but that is a Mech under construction. So you can see the main body there with its arms, with a flamethrower on one and a big sort of grabber on the other, and the legs are being constructed in the corners with the idea that it will be put together, burst through the roof and demolish Brick Nottingham, presumably. Hopefully that doesn't happen soon. I want to finish the room before that happens. Anyway, there's our inside shrimp boat, absolutely laden with shrimp, with a little bit of fish bycatch in there, and some good scenes. There's another fishing boat that's just sprung a leak, or a large container ship. It's almost tempting to make a second container ship now when we've got the new Ocean Explorer large boat, which is actually a small boat, two small boat hulls back to back with a kind of weird join in the middle, so I'm not certain about that, and the Monkey Kid large boat as well. But I don't want to ram this harbour too full of big boats, given that I've already got a couple more big boats planned that I've already got some of the pieces for, so I don't want to go too crazy with my purchases. We've got a lot of small buildings there. We've got one for a Batman set, the City Lines office, and then we've got a couple of baddie lairs, one there, Dock 13 and Carl's Cargo there, and then probably my favourite old set of all, the Eldorado Fortress, and that is rather fantastic. I've kind of improved on the original design a bit, including using a few modern pieces just to make it more fun. And it's good to get sets like that into a modern city like Brick Nottingham, and we do that by pretending that they are a tourist destination. So we've got actors playing pirates here, stealing a treasure chest, and other actors playing the fort residents and defenders with all their cannon and the parrot and all the rest of it, but the tourists taking photos. And another fantastic old set is this adventurous Zeppelin balloon, which I absolutely adore, and I've got quite a few adventurers on there like Johnny Thunder, and they're off goodness knows where around the world. So that's an area that is probably needing some more attention now, to be honest. We can fill in some of the gaps. I do plan a lighthouse for down here, and I do plan to have all of these piers filled with boats, so I'm going to have to do something here and a big one probably there and so on. And I've even got some open water space here to do yet more. Then above here I've got Lego DB Cooper, having stolen some cash on a parachute from a jet. And that's obviously hanging from the ceiling with a police jet in tow. If you don't know about that story, who Lego, well, the real life DB Cooper was, that's a good fun video as well. Tell you all about that story in real life. And while we're staring at bits of ceiling, this is my space station made out of 2 sets joined together with fully functioning airlock. And I just love those massive solar arrays. 4 panels looks good, but 8 looks oh so much better. And that's stuck on the ceiling with Velcro. I use the ceiling to represent space. I've actually got a couple of satellites to stick on the ceiling as well to represent further items in space. Yeah, so that's this area that we don't often see. And there's our double bridge from this side. Our rock face continuing round, unbroken. I'm going to add a lot more sort of life to this area as well, with some sort of water skiers and windsurfers and things like that. Then we get to our ugly edge where we've got yet to build probably, I'm thinking here, a Coast Guard station. Here, a big sort of train cargo area. And then we get more into the city proper, which I should probably do from inside that first standing hole. And then we can move over there to our second standing hole to finish off the tour of the city. Now here's the tour bus that represents all of you from all around the world watching the activities of Brick Nottingham. I've just pulled that over onto the pavement for now. Oh, and while we're here, there's the recently added Wizard, who I'm using as a Pinball Wizard, and obviously he's just got a new high score on the pinball machine because he's really happy and doing a bit of a dance around, so I think that's quite a fun scene. Now this is the 175th video, and I'm thinking of doing these updates a little more often in future, because every 25 videos just doesn't seem frequent enough, so maybe I should do them actually every month. You'll have to tell me what you think about that. I do love these skydivers. Always in a different position every time, given that they're hanging from bits of cotton and things like that. It's kind of like a child's mobile over its cot, and that they're all sort of hanging there. But I do like that scene, them all falling out. Well, jumping out, hopefully. And there's the old station, a big construction site. It's quite old now, very hidden away. What I like about all this multi-layeredness that we have around the city is that every angle you sort of peer at, or every corner you look around, you see something new and different. Got a sleepwalker on the end of that crane. Somebody trying to wake him up. Whether that's a good idea, who knows? And if you do like something that I just kind of whiz past on this update, that you want to see a lot more detail on, then do look for it on my channel, because absolutely everything does have its own video. So if you want to see more on, say, the bike shop over here, there will be a video. On the Crown Inn, there will be a video. On the castle, a whole series of videos. Do love that castle. With full play features, of course. Should we drop down the portcullis? Thwack. Very good. And there's more evidence of our 3D city And we can peer right into the subway there. Get my head out of the light. And that's good depth. And that reminds me of my rules that I set up for myself when doing this city and designing it and doing all the planning. The first and main rule was to make this a multi-layered 3D city, much like all those old adverts you saw for Lego in a Lego city, where there'd be boats on a much lower level, like here in the marina, than the edge of the marina, and then yet more steps up to the main street level. And it just makes the city so much more interesting and enables us to go down back again, like for the subway. And to have it all built in a city style as well. I'm not going for realism here at all. If you go for realism, you do need a lot more fences, which I'm sort of nearing the end of tolerance for. And you need a lot more toilets and a lot more staircases and so on. But I think if you build things in the Lego style, open back buildings are allowed. I love this scene. Jealous husband looking for his wife's lover. And there's Sauron in the floor above. And a drone there delivering a package. Very much like that as well. So having all these levels is just really fantastic. Accentuated here as well by having the bridge higher than the water, obviously, rather than just sat on top of it. Having things like these cliffs with our monster there and the monster hunter looking for him. One of the things we did in our last 25 videos was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Lair, which we light up by turning on this very secret switch, which will also power our Vestas wind turbine. There we go. Which in turn powers the lighting of our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Lair, which I absolutely love with that Mutants Rule graffiti on the back. And Raphael's just got pizza in for everyone. I might need to do some changes to that or even extend it, because I do have a lot more edging to go into. But, have to do things a bit at a time sometimes. Just turn that off for sake of volume. Another thing I've done recently, because I actually extended the tram line due to, a suggestion actually from one of my wonderful subscribers, just a little bit further so it could get down this slope and bounce off the station without going right through it. So that's enabled me to actually extend my park just a little bit. It may look very similar indeed, but it's actually 8 studs longer now. So that's good. It's a bit more spaced out, this nice park with a lot of features near our town hall. And what appears to be a massive queue of dogs for a lolly, but nonetheless, I don't know how that ended up looking quite like that. And there's another one of my favourite scenes. Man with dropped ice cream. We've all been there. We've all done that. Very good. Got the Hidden Side gang there going in their buggy. Nice row of modulars. And possibly my favourite sort of modular is this car park. And I really like that because it's it just fits seamlessly in this row of modulars. And it also sticks out the back because it's actually 48 studs rather than 32 studs long, which means the train on the inside track actually goes through the bottom part of that car park, which I really like. And the tram line elevated there, going right past the back of it, as well as the other second railway line, being the cargo trains line. Great. So if I turn around now, go past the River Trent that we were pointing at earlier, which goes through that water wheel, which does work and actually powers the hammer of the blacksmith through the window. Hopefully you can see that in the shadow. Past my historic statue. This runner shops. I do like the Donut Fancy with its detachable killer donut. And then we've got the pet shop, which I have as an exotic pet shop with its quite fun 3D sign. And all the escaping pets. We've got an escaping large snake there. Another snake coming out of the wall there. It's almost like Indiana Jones. And there is the crocodile, albino crocodile, which was probably escaped as a youngster, who's now living in the River Trent. So that's good fun. Above our subway system. Rat eating pizza. More monster hunters looking for another monster who is hidden there on that revolving door. Lego shop, TV shop, winter sports shop with the wonderful Yeti. Absolutely love him. One of Mrs. Hood's favourites as well, that Yeti. Another steps down with my tread plates. But this is all old stuff. Most of the progress we've made in the last 25 videos has actually been to this whole area. Yeah, we've done the Krusty Krab in this wonderful pub with all sorts of visitors and a stag or bachelor party. There's the fish and chip shop at the end of the beach, which we had done, I think, last time. But what we hadn't done was all of this wonderful detail on the beach. So we've got the beach party itself with dynamic volleyball game. I just love the way that blue cheerleader is mounted on one of those new clear DC pieces you can see just there on her foot. Makes it a very dynamic pose indeed. And this guy's jumping, having just delivered that ball. A shrimp shack, sandcastles, with the little girl's castle being way better than her dad's attempt. There's the beach huts. This guy having left his lady without her bikini bottoms on. That cheers me up every time I see it, it's funny. The end of the beach, meeting up with this bait shop, the old fishing store. And the best thing about this is the multi-layered nature of it, in that the front is at one layer with the steps right down to the beach, but then the back is level with the brand new mini golf course, which is missing a lot of the details around its front here and the back and all around here and all around there as well. That's all going to be finished with vegetation and all sorts of stuff. I need to put a lot of plant life around my whole city. And thanks to all my subscribers for their continued input into making this city even better every single week. One of the things that they've recently suggested is things like adding golf balls to the ballast of the track where they've sort of been chipped on accidentally, which I really like. So we'll have some multicoloured ballast there. Ideas for golf signs. Switching a few of these courses around so they're a bit less dangerous being so close to the train. But I haven't done any of those yet, but they are going to be coming. Then we've got our lovely boardwalk area with these 3 beautiful modulars. Some of the best Lego have done, in my opinion. The diner with its fantastic Art Deco curves and architecture. Just love that curved window at the bottom on its side. That's brilliant. The pool hall with its lovely sign. And the Parisian on the end. And one of my favourite small but very significant additions was the idea of using this tunnel from the boardwalk to our new main station. And that tunnel obviously was already there, but to use it for that, I just think was, well, genius, quite frankly. It just works so well in connecting different areas. Because I do find, if I do have one criticism of a lot of Lego cities, it's that they kind of look like sets put next to each other, maybe in a different order from somebody else, but nonetheless, they're not sort of really that integrated. And what I've tried to do, definitely more recently, is have things like the Krusty Krab sort of almost blending into the fish and chip shop, which sort of kind of blends into the beach, which kind of blends into the shrimp shack. So although you recognise each of the constituent parts very well, perhaps, they are all combined into one whole rather than looking like individual items that could just be swapped in order very quickly next week. And there's another one of my recent favourites, the gardener. What a wonderful garden. I wish I could get my garden to look that bright and fantastic. So this is the variety of plant pieces that I have available that I could do something with. I just haven't got round to it, like absolutely everything. I get a lot of questions saying, when are you going to do X? Hello. And when are you going to do Y? And I want to do them all. I want to do them all pretty much straight away. But, you know, we've got to do things one at a time. So if I haven't got round to the thing you're very interested in, like the fairground, right underneath my light there, you'll see I've got two of the biggest rides ready to go. And I'm actually at the position where I'm going to extend these tables next to make what would be the sort of second standing hole, which you can kind of see will be here, have tables all along the back as well. So it will be another hole, pretty much the same sort of depth as this one. So what's that, about 2 base plates? So about 20 inches wide. And indeed, I'm actually going to have a second subway station, if you didn't know. Full subway station will be in that standing hole, so it'll actually start at that corner that you can kind of see already and be kind of there. And then we'll have another set of tables along that back wall near the curtains or drapes to make it enclosed as well. So back to what we've done. Our wonderful main station. I think that's got to be the best thing we've done in the last 25 videos. Took about 4 or 5 to complete, but it's just got so much detail. It's kind of modularized in the fact you can kind of lift off each of the floors and look at the insides. And I just love the fact that we've got the 2 train lines linked by these stairs that have got tread plates on, including that one I cut the stickers on, my recent guide. So we've got a man actually standing on a tread plate tile there, which links with our wonderful monorail tram system. And I just think that connection and my massive line of taxis is, and God, look at that sort of view there. I mean, I think that is when Lego does really echo real life, a view like that. And it's not something that I try and do, generally speaking. Try and make my city look realistic. I try and make it look like a Lego city, really. And that may sound like a sort of odd thing to say, but I don't go for realism, is what I mean. I don't try and create buildings that are real proportions or have all the features that you'd expect to see in a real life building, like toilets and stairs on smaller buildings and things like that. But I want it to be fun and have all the character of a good Lego set. This is our illegal wrestling den on top of the roof of the Palace Cinema, by the way. And I just think that's a lot more fun than trying to go for realism. Here's our kind of Hollywood premiere with Her Majesty the Queen, the guest of honour, followed by an actress, child actor, the lead singer of Aero Brick. And all the screaming fans. So there's another example of a viewer suggestion. A little 1x1 tile and a pen, being a screaming autograph hunter. I just love getting suggestions like that. Just makes the city so much better. There's that sweat. Solar panels and the aircon that we added relatively recently. Mario mural, which is a bit weird now. They've released all the Mario Lego as well. It was a bit sort of prescient, that, wasn't it? But nonetheless. Our kebab shop. For those who've suggested a kebab shop, I already had one. Here it is, Bob's Kebabs. That's within easy reach of both of the pubs. One being there, the Crown, and one being here, the Krusty Krab. Again, with its removable roof. Do like that. Beer taps, sports, and a very ill pig. And there's one of my coffee shops. I've got another one in front of the station, and I've actually been accumulating these over the years. Wherever I've seen one going on its own on eBay for cheap, I've got about 4 more. And the original joke was going to be that I'd have one kind of every 100 yards or so. But I've only actually put 2 in, so I must get a move on with that as well. There's so many competing factors that I need to do. Right, I'm going to go over to what will be the second standing hole over there, so we can look back on the city. And I will mumble on some more. And then we can get all the trains going, which will be nice and noisy. And that's everyone's favourite after all. And go from there. Right, so over on the other side, just so you can get your bearings. I do love this sort of view when you go sort of dip it down. And you see all the layers of buildings where you've got the station, the backs of those modulars, which incidentally look absolutely fantastic against the station. That's a view you'd definitely see pulling into somewhere like London on the train. Then your view right across the bay to the boats on the other side. Then you can see the green roof of the surf shop and Paradise Cafe. The red buildings directly behind that being the ice cream shop and the toy shop. The row of modulars behind that. And then my row of facades right against the wall. And it just gives the city so much depth. So it does actually look like a city from this sort of perspective, I think. So I'm very happy with that. And here's another suggestion that I took on from viewers. You'll notice that this light that he's changing has actually gone. So it's not trans yellow, it's just trans clear. So all these really small but subtle changes make the city look a lot better, and I'm very grateful for them. There's our second coffee chain shop. And then the station building. Very grand indeed. I get told off for saying certain words. Obviously use them too much. I've said grand a lot, especially when referring to that. I say seamless quite a lot every time I do any tiling. Here's another one of our subway stops, this time with Jack from Hidden Side coming out of it. So it's another example of using that third dimension. And another one of my rules is to go for density, which is definitely on show here. People often say, why don't you spread it out a bit more, or make the platforms longer, or put more of a passageway behind these modulars. And it is very cramped, but the fact is that's so we can achieve this much in this little space. Mrs. Hood has made it quite clear that this room is the limitations for Lego. I'm still very grateful for that, to be honest, because we can fill it absolutely to the brim. So the more density I go for, the more I can cram in. Essentially, that's what it comes down to. I do like that golf course over the train there. You can see the loop-the-loop and the windmill and so on. It'll look even better when it's sort of bedded in And got some daffodils nearby and things like that. I like the two bridges from the different angles as well. You can look right up them there. And there's the turtle lair. You can just see in there. It's good fun. And then here is my first mock modular, fast food corner. And thank you everyone who supported that so far. We are on the home straight for that one. Thankfully. Getting to 10,000 votes. And then I think this round closes in September from memory. So in September, all the ones that have made 10,000 votes since May will be considered for Lego, by Lego, for making into a genuine set. The sad thing is no modular has yet been chosen, which might be for reasons of it competing with Lego's own products, I don't know, but nonetheless, it's a great honour to have achieved that level. Well, I say have achieved. Hopefully I will, touch wood. And I've put that next to the brick Birch Bookshop. There's a little boy climbing the tree. I think Mrs. Hood did that. I haven't placed the partner to that yet, partially because I don't know where to put it, and partially because I don't really like it that much, to be honest. I'm going to have to do some surgery on that, I think. Change it a great deal. This is another good example of why I like it to be a Lego city. There are more sort of racing cars and weird specialist type vehicles on my roads than you'd ever see in real life. I think you should be able to have a dragster right next to a tractor or a beach buggy and all sorts of other vehicles. And I kept my New Year's resolution for quite a long time, actually, right until the beginning of June, until I forgot. It was to add a vehicle every time I did a city update up here in the Lego room. I love the fact that Dorothy there from Wizard of Oz is a devout wrestling fan. With Lego Don King being the promoter. I also love the robots being reunited on the train platform. Right. I say we get all the trains going, and maybe I'll get on that step ladder again and give you the aerial view. I do love this view. It's very noisy with everything going. I haven't even got the helicopter or the Vestas wind turbine going, or the underground train, but it's still quite noisy. Apologies for that if you're watching on a TV with wonderful speakers. It just shows the contribution that everyone adds to the channel, in that this was a suggestion made by Mrs. Hood to stand on a step ladder and get a real nice aerial view of the city. It might be hard to do in the future because when this second standing hole, that being the first, the second one being basically here, when this is enclosed, it's going to be very difficult to get this step ladder in as well, but I will be able to do a spin round here and show you what will be the airport, the second subway station, the fairground, all sorts of stuff like that. And maybe not in the next 25 videos, but one thing I am definitely going to focus on in the future is a fully motorised power functions fairground, which I think will be possibly the highlight of the whole city. So just because the trains are confined to the side we've currently done does not mean that we won't have things whizzing around. And talking of whizzing around, that was one of the additions we made in the last 25 videos. Actually, we've done quite a few train videos, but well, I'll focus on the passenger train. We've got the buffet car, which is the one with the white band on there, about halfway along. And on the cargo train, we've done possibly the best thing I've ever done. The spinning concrete mixer car, which is absolutely awesome. And we also did the caboose on the end, which created a bit of controversy as to which was the front, which was the back. And I definitely learned a lot about trains in that whole exchange. And look at this, the tram. It's just so fantastic. And they've all got the lights on. Yeah, so I do have a lot more train plans, to be honest. We'll continue adding. This cargo train is a bit long, but it is fine. It's going slow at the moment, not because it is absolutely dying trying to pull these things around, but just because I like it to go quite slow in comparison with the fast white train. So it's got absolutely no problem. It's got 2 motors in there, so it has no problem pulling this, and I can get it going a lot faster than this if required. Right, I'm going to go back to that centre hole and we can get the subway going and maybe the other stuff as well. Hey, you can't beat the subway going. White train, yellow tram, and the beast pulling his many carriages. Yeah, trains are definitely the best aspect of a Lego city. I think everyone would agree. It's going to be quite interesting when the subway is a little bit longer and we see it first of all appearing at the station in the second standing hole that isn't yet built, and then whizzes along to appear here as well. The inference being that it obviously goes via the main station and stops like this on its way, but it doesn't literally link with those. And I've got 2 more fake subway stops to add to the picture, but I haven't placed those yet or fully decided where they're going to go. This is my Power Functions rescue helicopter, which can fit everything it needs within that body, which is rather fantastic. The wind turbine, the turtle Lair. Absolutely love that scene. And actually we glossed over our Chinese restaurant on Destiny's Bounty with all the grumpy staff who really don't enjoy their job. And this is another one of my favourite scenes, especially if you get down low. See the tram just appearing and disappearing in between 2 buildings. Oh, and then both of the trains. Fantastic. Just a really good view. And then we've got our run of facades, of course. So I don't ever know where to start the facades. Technically, Sweat is a facade, being just the front of a very big building. I imagine this as being the gym of a hotel complex. Oh, minor tram. And the building going off into the distance. I have to do something in this space. And one good suggestion was continuing the rock face round a bit so it didn't look so square, which I quite like the idea. The castle itself, sort of a facade. Then residential, and the only residential you'll see in my city is in facade form because I think it's a bit of a waste of space compared with businesses. A hotel, corner station, construction site, tram stop, road going off into the distance. Ari's Deli, a green President Business building with his double height office with chandelier and so on. The red one, which I tried to do perspective on by making it very narrow and sort of trying to hint at it being further away. It just doesn't work. It just looks like a narrower thing that's in line. Then that lovely condo building, and then our school, which we did very recently with the very naughty girls who've been catapulting stones at the window down there in between the rail lines. Very dangerous place to stand indeed. And even more recently, the Italian fancy restaurant, which is so bright and colourful. I love that. And all of this level is much higher than the harbour level, you might be able to notice. I think that's 5 bricks lower. So you've got the road sort of down there. And that's where I'm using the walls a lot in my city to sort of go off into the distance. So that's another road that goes off. I don't feel any pressure to have that road linking with all the roads of the rest of the city or there. I very much assume that my city continues off into every direction, and this is kind of a snapshot, and the walls are kind of like a guillotine that have come down and just chopped off the rest of the city from our view on all 4 sides. But it does definitely continue. White train incoming. Ooh, yes. Blue train, red train incoming. Ooh. But that white one just clipped my finger. Oh, it's busy round here. There's the orange tram. Some people don't like the Vestas wind turbine. I'm not sure I do either, in a sense, either the set or its location, because it just wouldn't be in a city centre. But nonetheless, it's quite good fun. And this I absolutely adore just because of the stickers on the ends of the blades. Just make it look so fantastically realistic. Our double bridges. And probably the best view of all is that. Wonderful. 2 trains going through our station. The tram isn't that near, unfortunately, otherwise I'd have a shot of all 3 going through. So, a big thank you really to all of my supporters, whether you're just somebody who watches the occasional video or watches them originally, and 100% of them, because there seems to be an increasing number of people who take great pride in having watched all the way from the beginning. I almost feel that I should create some sort of badge for those people, but it's not something I can do that easily. But thank you to all of you, because you all give me a lot of support, a lot of encouragement, and a lot of wonderful suggestions, which really do culminate in a lot of improvements, whether it be the piled bikes up by here, adding a red carpet here. There's just so many different things that have been suggested. Well, I haven't shown you my chip shop really, have I? With my seagull attack scene. Wonderful. Inside of my chip shop. But it's wonderful sign. Can't get over how good and appropriate that sign is from a completely irrelevant set. Anyway, I feel I'm rambling now, so I think I'll stop this and get on with planning what we're going to do for the next 25 videos. So as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. Next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be doing a brick haul on Wednesday, and then a city update as usual on Friday. And let's hope the next 25 videos are equally productive and good fun as the last ones. I also want to give a massive shout out to everyone who's voted for my LEGO Ideas project, being Fast Food Corner. We are on the home stretch on that one. I also want to give a massive shout out to all of my subscribers We're nearly at 10,000 now. Should hit that in the next, well, few days, hopefully. And I have to think of something special to do as a celebration. Anyway, until then, see you!